Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Shenell Felix, and you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But this morning, as we kickstart our conversation, jumping right off of all that's happening in the Tobago Heritage Festival, we have the Moores on set with us this morning. And I'm talking about Mr. Oswin Moore and Mrs. Pearline Moore. And they are talking all about the Moore's family reunion. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. We're talking about another one of those big Tobago family reunions. And you know, we say here in Tobago, everybody related. You understand? When you really do the map and the tree, you realize, you know, everybody is a cousin to somebody and an in-law to another. So tell us, how many years are you celebrating in this particular family reunion, and where would it be taking place, and who is invited?
All right. So first of all, thanks for having us. We're very grateful to being able to come and talk to you. This will be the 25th year that we're having this family reunion. And we have it every 5 years. 5 years is a good enough time to develop some new thinking and new perspectives. And it's in a number of parts. First of all, we use the period to reflect on the improbability of a family that started with 3 more brothers coming from Barbados to Charlottesville, and then moving out from there, one to Palativere, the other to Lambo, the other one staying at Charlottesville, and spawning a very consequential family throughout Tobago. The improbability of the success of that family over the 10 generations since is something we reflect on. And when you reflect on it and you feel as though you understand the blessing that it has represented, we give thanks. So Thanksgiving is a big part. And then, of course, we honor a number of people who would have helped us along the way. Beyond that, deepening and strengthening of bonds of the family members, because it's such a large family. Many of them part of the diaspora coming back here for this reunion. So we deepen, we strengthen the roots, and trying to encourage a sense of belonging, a sense of connectedness, sense of rootedness. Beyond that, the next thing we do a lot is education. Education has been one of the tenets of the Moore family ever since these brothers came to Charlottesville. And it's not education just in the academic sense. There's a lot of mentoring that's going to be going on. Education in terms of wellness, physical, spiritual wellness, but also financial and economic wellness. Those are some of the areas that we tackle. And good citizenship. What does it mean to be a Moore? When we grew up, our good name was a big thing. So we want to revisit that again, right? And then, so this will be happening over the next week and a half. And by the end of this week and a half, each clan, because each Moore, the 3 Moores went to Palativere, Charlottesville, Lambo, each clan would have visited the other 2 clans and be visited by the other 2 clans. We would have had a gala event that would host over 300 people. We'd have had a church service for all of the Moores together. That would be another 200 people. We would honor the oldest grave site of a Moore in Tobago at St. Patrick's in Mount Pleasant. The family tree would have been extended because we would have met a number of new people. We probably have over 2,000 something on the tree right now. We expect it will go up to close to 3,000. So, you know, and then of course, countless other people's lives would have been touched by this. We hope this could be a new form of tourism for Tobago, a reunion tourism, because many of us are coming from overseas. We have to rent maxi taxis and stuff like that.
And Pearline, so tell us, why have you been officially mapping your family tree? And if so, what is the significance of that, you know, as your family continues to progress?
Okay, good morning. Mapping our family tree is very important to us. I in particular have discovered, I knew Moors. I went to school with persons who did not carry the surname Moore. But upon mapping the family tree, we realized that many of us are related. And that has brought a closer bond between us.
Excellent. And, Mr. Oswin, talk to us about how mapping the family tree can impact the future progress of your family. And you spoke about the economic benefits of that. You spoke about, the business side of that. How does that help to benefit your family, and how can other families take pattern from that?
Yeah. So one of the powerful things of mapping this family tree is you begin to understand where you came from and some of the people that brought you to where you are today and some of the sacrifices they made. So there are some real greats, mainly in the Charlottesville area or initially, who lifted up a whole nation. You're talking about folks like Eugenio Moore, who was the economic advisor to the Prime Minister and head of the public service. You're talking about Doddridge Aline, similar, economic advisor to the Prime Minister and head of the public service. J.D. Elder, Dr. J.D. Elder. So these are folks you can find on the family tree and trace your lineage back to them. But it also tells the more person down the line that these folks did these things. This is not something that is alien to you. You can do some of these things as well, because what they had to work with was much less than we had to work with. And we set up fora that people can mentor, because there are many other success stories. Right now, there's Shaq Moore, who plays international soccer for the US and plays professional soccer, and many other professional sports people in the group and culture people in the group. So the family tree gives you a chance to realize that you know where you could tap into if you want to get additional
Right. I'm
information.
glad that you said that, because that's exactly where I was going with it. It creates a network
Absolutely.
that is, invaluable.
Yes.
When you realize that, you probably have two cousins who are superstars in Hollywood, and, a couple of them that are lawyers and
Yes.
doctors. And if you ever find yourself
Thank
in a
you.
predicament where you do need that
Thank
type
you.
of assistance, you probably get 50% off the service, right?
Free.
But we still support family regardless.
Absolutely.
Right? And I am glad that you said looking back to who came from your lineage, because it often says to persons that when they do feel defeated, that I came from greatness and therefore I am greatness.
Thank you so much.
And greatness runs in my
Thank you
veins.
so much.
And so tell us about the activities that are happening. You spoke about the gala, this church service, all of that. What are the days that these things are happening?
Well, we would have actually started on Sunday evening with our meet and greet. That's where all the persons who were coming in, we met together with the locals, and we had a wonderful time. So that started on Sunday. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, everybody heads to Charlottesville. Everybody heads to Charlottesville. And one of the things that happens is that each clan tries to outdo the other. With
So
our
it's type of
hospitality.
a internal family harvest type situation.
Yes.
And they keep secrets, so we don't even know what some of these clans are going to do.
Okay. And then on Thursday, we go to Palatine. And these activities are all day. And one of the highlights occurs on Friday. We meet in Scarborough. Everybody meets in Scarborough. We do a parade, and then Lambo's turn is on Friday afternoon at the food hub. We normally hold it in Lambo, but this year we're having it at the food hub.
Excellent.
And on just a minute,
location.
when we parade in our colors. Each clan is identified by a particular color. I am wearing burgundy, which is the color for Palatine. And then Charlottesville comes with yellow, and Lambo with orange. So that's where we are. They're showing off, doing our thing.
Excellent. And I'm happy to see, the level of enthusiasm that comes with this type of celebration, because there are persons who have an innate love for family.
Yeah,
You know, and I am one of those persons. They just love to be at those gatherings around family, and it just warms your heart. You find, like, in the middle of a sitting, you just get teary-eyed for no
oh
reason because your
man,
heart is
thank you,
literally full.
thank you,
You know, to see the
thank
generations
you.
and just to see, you know, different persons coming together and, you know, understanding the value of the strength that comes with unity. And so there's a lot that's happening still, right? So
Yes.
you have the clans meeting up. And so who is invited, you know, and how can a person know if they are indeed a Moor or related to a Moor? How can a person know if they should be at this family reunion event?
That's a really good question, right? So most people who are Moors tend to have grown up knowing that they're Moors and related, okay? But for those who may not, just reach out. A good place to reach out would be on Saturday morning. That's on the 26th, right? We have the gala in the evening, but we have a soup sale in the morning. And this soup sale is at Shore Park, I believe.
At the food hub.
At the food hub. We're inviting people to come there and start bonding and discovering and buy some soup while you're at it, right?
So you buy some soup and you come and you ask a question.
Ask a question.
Right.
And
So
we bring you the answer.
my great grandmother
Here you go.
was Mr.
Yeah,
So,
just give us a place to start. Say, well, you know, my great grandmother was
married to this one, and then this one begat this one.
There you go. And we have a tree. We actually do have a
Yes.
tree that has lots of that linkage on it, right? Because J.D. Elder was who he was. He was a cultural icon. And I had an aunt whose name was Harriet Moore from the Lambo clan. And there was an elder from the Lambo clan that she celebrated her 100th birthday back in 1982. And as a youngster went and interviewed her with J.D. Elder over my shoulder and my auntie Harriet. And she traced to us everything from the 3 Barbadian Moors who first came. They went to Charlottesville, to Palatuvia, and to Lambo, and everything back from there.
So, okay, do you remember who did they marry? So the Moors in the brother that was in Charlottesville, who did he marry?
Yeah, we have all
Lambo
of that.
Marry, and who did
We have all of that.
What are the surnames?
Can't remember it right off the top of my head now.
Yeah.
But so he married. Moses is the Lambo one. Okay. I can't remember the Charlottesville one, but it's on the tree.
Right.
And he was an Igbo, right? He was a Yoruba, and this lady was a Igbo person.
Right.
So,
and we know the history of that in
exactly
Nigeria.
So. Exactly so.
In that time, that was quite taboo
for
exactly. Igbos and Yorubas to mix, But today it's quite common now, But they do trace their history back to Nigeria and the Benin Kingdom.
Exactly. So that's a good question because we try to put as much detail as we could on the tree, right, to include that sort of stuff. I mean, I did my DNA test just to see, Nigeria, Ghana, West Africa, there's about 78 or 80% of me right there,
Excellent, excellent. And, why is it important for even, the younger persons within your family, the younger Moors and other surnames to get involved and to want to be a part of this?
Well, definitely because we live in a small island called Tobago. And you would have cousins getting married to cousins. So we want to, as far as possible, we cannot eliminate it.
Right.
Avoid interbreeding.
Understood.
Most important.
And, what are some of the events you want to, again, highlight to ensure that persons come out and support to be a part of that, even as we round up our discussion this morning?
Okay, so there's Charlottesville on Wednesday, tomorrow. Then we go to Palatuvia on Thursday. Friday we come to Scarborough, have a good time, and then go to Lambo. Saturday morning we have our soup sale. Saturday evening is the dress-up time.
That's the gala.
Fashion show, etc. That's the gala. Sunday morning at 10, we go to St. Patrick's AC, where that famous grave is of Dormout Moore.
Right. And how are you planning to fit all those persons in that St. Patrick Church?
That's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. And then on Monday, you have the education and wellness seminar at
Absolutely.
the Shore Park
There you go.
complex.
There you go.
And that one is also open to the public.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, just to say a bit about Dormouth. Dormouth was, he was a sexton at that church for a long time. And he was a beloved sexton, so much so that he's buried right out at the door mouth of the church. Now, this name Dormouth, as they call him, or Domut, as they would say back in the day, because when he was older, he sat at the door mouth of his house and just greeted everybody. Then, as a sexton, he sat at the door mouth of the church and greeted everybody as they come in and rang the bell and that sort of stuff, right? So when he died, I mean, he would not have known that he was going to be given this signal honor of being buried right up front at the door mouth of the church, right in the midst of some real greats of the society and the world at the time, because this was the Church of England. So we have a guy called Sir Geoffrey Knox, who I understand may have owned the lands down by John de Moore back there. My parents eventually bought a piece of land from. He is there, buried right next to this humble little man, right? C.P. Roberts, a guy who was the principal of Bonacol Government School when I was a student there. He's right next to him. Silton Rodriguez. Now there's a lady who has a slave connection in terms of being one of the last to bring some of the bricks to build that church. So they're all buried there. So the church is a notable thing that a church could find its way to do that to a very humble person. So we have created a whole new monument around him. We've refurbished that grave, built a whole marble stone on it with some carvings and so on. And that's a really big part of what we're going to be doing on that day.
Excellent. And, what I hear you saying, you're talking a lot about, historical preservation. So do you guys have any literature books that have been written to, highlight some of the things that you're saying here today that, 15, 20, 100 years from now, Moors can look back and read and digest all this information that you now have?
Sure. Well, I will answer it this way, right? So the family tree is a sort of a source document, and we are challenging the next generations to start writing some of this stuff down. The Charlottesville clan has a book called Misla O, okay? That was written, I guess, by that clan a long time ago. I saw a copy of it. Deborah Moore Miggins wrote a book called The Caribbean Proverbs That Raised Us. So all of these things are closing in on just filling in other bits and pieces of what you're saying. We want to write it down. And so the young people, we have a campfire night where we're talking stories about our history.
So is anybody going to be recording it?
Yes, absolutely. The entire thing is going to be recorded. The entire thing is going to be recorded. And we're hoping to set a good example. I mean, we are proud of who we are, but we're not proud in a puffed up way. We just see that we have a responsibility, having been the beneficiaries of all that sacrifice that people who had no idea what we would become have made, to show that we could use this, to encourage others to do something like it.
Excellent, and I am sure that your forefathers would be very proud.
We hope so.
To have seen, that display of pride for who you are and where you came from. We want to thank you so much for coming here this morning, and we want to encourage all Moors and related persons in Tobago. You are Moor, relative to a Moor, and what are the other surnames that are
Moor? There are so many.
Carringtons, Elders, Jameses, Isaacs, Nicholsons, Hislops,
Waldrons.
Okay.
There are so many more.
It sounds like the whole to me.
Alleens, a lot of them.
Excellent. Well, again, we want to thank you, but we're going to take a quick break right here.
Just one more thing. We did not mention our farewell.
Right. Yeah. So this is happening on the 29th of July, right?
That's one at.
This is Tuesday the 29th, and this farewell is happening at the Lowlands Junction.
Right. Pearline Christmas. The Christmas is another name as well. Right.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you, and we look forward to you having a successful family reunion celebration, right? And to much, much more. And I really do hope that you get to document that history.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have that literature and those videos for the next generation to
Yeah,
see.
we're
Don't
still
forget the
learning
soup
a lot.
sale.
And don't forget, there's the soup sale that's happening
Saturday
on
morning.
Saturday morning at the Food Hub.
That's
So if
right.
you want to come out and really find out if you are a relative of the Moors, then that's the
There
place
you
to be.
go.
Come and check out their family tree and see if you know anyone on there that looks quite familiar to you. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back right after this. See you soon.
Rise.